Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
On this edition of Minnesota Original, painter Caitlin Karolczak is inspired by vintage medical photos and deathbed portraits. Fiber artist Erica Spitzer Rasmussen creates wearable art and sculptures using tomatoes, matchsticks, and human hair. They started as a street band, and over the years, the Brass Messengers have added Dixie and Latin to their gypsy brass style. These artists and more, now on Minnesota Original.
It's very difficult to describe my work to someone who has never seen it before. It's a lot easier if I have images of my work to show them, because when I say that I'm a figural painter, they think of what they think a figural painter should be, and I don't always fit into that box because I use old master techniques. But then I also like to play with that notion of the other in our culture. And I think people don't want to look at that, so my paintings kind of confront the viewer with that. My name is Caitlin Karolczak, and I'm a figural painter. This one is more planned out than most of my paintings, because I'll constantly go back and forth, and sometimes they end up more interesting because I don't know what I'm doing, but this one is just more laid out, so hopefully it won't be as labor intensive. But I took scenes from about 5 different deathbed portraits, cut it all up in Photoshop. It actually took me quite a while to get this photo together, and then a vintage photo of a nude man that I'm working from. At this point in my career, I prefer working from photographs. The reason I am attracted to these old medical photos is because they're so dramatic, and it's a person, it's not a thing, it's not a medical condition, like you're looking at a person. That's the same reason why I was attracted to the memorial photography. It's kind of from that Vanitas theme, or a memento mori theme, trying to remind people that they're going to die, that we're all immortal, and that you can't take it with you. So far, it's just brown and black underpainting mostly, and I'm gonna start going in with the skin tones. The whole point is to do these translucent layers, especially in skin tones. It's multiple translucent layers on top of one another until you start to get this realistic skin tone that really glows. I like the figures in my paintings to be passive, but they're also not passive. They're trying to interact with the viewer, just for them to have some sort of an emotional reaction to it. Sometimes it'll look like there's a story going on, and I usually don't like to tell people too much about what I think they should be seeing. I like them to be interested enough when they walk by to stop and think about what they think is going on in the painting. When you are talking to a person or you look at a person, you're going to look in their eyes and see what their eyes are telling you. The eyes in my paintings, I tend to put a lot of effort into even trying to make the picture make eye contact with the viewer no matter where they are at in the room. Oftentimes I'll have to repaint eyes over and over again until it's just right, just to inject that little bit of presence into the painting to make it come alive. I've heard my work described as creating something beautiful out of something grotesque, and I think that is true. I'm trying to confront the viewer with this idea of mortality and sickness. People don't want to think about it or talk about it, and with some of my paintings, they're confronted with it, and I really want them to feel familiar with it. And I work with these figures that most people wouldn't feel familiar with at all, but I want them to keep that idea of the other in their mind. I know where people are coming from, but at the same time, that's all part of the human condition, and I don't think people should look away from it. I think they should look right at it, and that's what some of my paintings are trying to do, is trying to just draw a little bit of beauty out of this horrific condition and just giving that person back their dignity.
My name is Mike Breidenbach, and I'm the director of piping at McAllister College, and I'm a professional bagpiper. Well, this is what's officially called the Great Highland Bagpipe. And there are several different parts to it. This is called the chanter, and that's where the melody comes from and where you put your fingers. These are called the drones, which are the pipes of bagpipes. And these are the unique part of a specific instrument. These happen to be from before World War I was when these were made. This is the blowpipe, and there's a valve on there, so when you blow through it into the bag, then the air doesn't come back out. So all these pipes are tied tightly onto my bag, which is underneath this bag cover. And when I fill the bag with air, then I squeeze the bag really hard, and the air goes through all the reeds that are in the different pipes. And then you hear the beautiful sounds of the Highland bagpipe.
This is a jacket called a coat for two occasions, a garment that I made to wear to my funeral and cremation. I was in an Oriental grocery once upon a time, and they were having a closeout on joss paper. It's decorative paper, sometimes called spirit money, that is burned ceremoniously at some Asian funerals. And as the smoke rises to the heavens, it's believed that your thoughts and your prayers are carried to your loved ones. And I thought that was such a beautiful ritual that I wanted to be able to burn my own joss paper at my own demise. I like that tension that happens between the funny and the horrific, and that which is beautiful and is repulsive. Those tensions keep me interested, and I think that they help engage the viewer. I generally say that I'm a maker of paper garments. As a girl, my mother sewed the majority of our garments, and so I was brought up around fabric, making doll clothes, making puppets, and so for me it was familiar territory. These are called corsets of Talus, and they are works from a larger series. I made about 10 of these corsets. My work had always been about the body. I've been fascinated by the body because there's so many different ways to look at it and talk about it. But then I just got so frustrated as a graduate student painting about the body. And one day it was like this light bulb went off over my head, and I just thought I should be working three-dimensionally. This one is made with bottle caps. In the summertime when I go to the drive-in theaters, I pick them up. The second one here is surfaced with dehydrated sole. It makes reference to skin itself. This last one here is surfaced with dehydrated cherry tomatoes, and then it's lined with these tassels made of human hair. Hair is a recurring theme in my work. It represents so many different things. When I was a girl, my father told me that eating tomatoes would make me big and strong and hairy-chested. As a small child, I recognized that chest hair was appropriate for a man, but if not, of course, for a woman. And that's why I stopped eating tomatoes, and I avoided it for 20 years. I like to incorporate materials that help me tell my stories. So it made sense to me that I should use those very materials, tomatoes and hairs, that tormented me. My brother went on to eat tomatoes, and you should see how hairy he turned out. This is a piece called Choker. It's about how my seasonal allergies appear to be worsening as I age. During the summertime when Minnesota is at its most beautiful, I am feeling my worst. And I seem to be taking decongestants on a daily basis as the elm seeds, in this case, are falling from the sky. So it's about that kind of cyclical process, and also the kind of choking physical effects that I feel during the summertime. This is the hair of my friend Trin. I started working with handmade paper because it was the thing that most aligned or related to skin. After making sheets, I can turn them into yardage by adhering the small sheets together. I'm generally pulling sheets of paper and creating yardage to make the garments, or sometimes I cast the paper. Then I cover it with things that help me tell the stories. When I was in Austria, I went to my family's hometown of Spitz. And when I was there looking for evidence of my family, the apricots were in season, and they were literally falling from the trees. My husband and I ate apricots until we could eat no more. I don't worry about preserving my work. The body, of course, will change and decay in time, and so it's appropriate that my work should do the same. I love making the work. I love the material experience of handling the work, of creating patterns, of stitching the garments up, embellishing them by spending time with the work and reflecting upon the experience. Equally so, I love telling the stories. I love seeing people nod their heads in agreement. I can't imagine doing anything else.
I think storytelling is essential. It's what we do. When you gather with your friends, you tell stories. And I like to tell stories with vessels. The sociology of vessels really intrigues me, because you think when you gather with your friends, or when I gather with my friends, we're not together too awfully long before we think, well, let's get something to drink, let's get something to eat, are you hungry? And what do? We don't just dump it on the table and lap at it like cats. We put it in cups and containers and vessels. And metaphorically what a vessel does, the part it plays in the human experience is huge. It serves, it pours, it contains, it protects, it nurtures. And clay is particularly, it's the medium of choice, really, when you think about that metaphoric attributes of vessel. We anthropomorphize stuff, particularly in clay. Think about a pot. It's got a belly, it's got a shoulder, it's got a neck, it's got a foot. And you do enough stuff to it, it will literally do the funky chicken for you across the table, visually, anyway. And that has a great deal of appeal to me. Clay is amazing, and it gives me the opportunity to combine all my skill sets. It gives me the ability to work in 3 dimensions, yet maintain the narrative of the surface. It's all about reconciling form with surface. That's the big conundrum for every ceramist, I believe. For me, it certainly has been that way. But once I learned how to make good pots and put the appropriate surfaces on them, my work just kind of became, it speaks for itself. That's what I want my work to do, is speak for itself.
We are the Brass Messengers. We're a 10-piece band from Minneapolis. That's 2 trumpets, 2 bones, a tuba, a peck horn, a couple drummers, clarinet, and a saxophone. Brass Messengers came out of the Mayday band of Heart of the Beast Puppet and Mask Theater. Steve and I were getting together before Mayday for a few years and putting these songs together, and we'd play them once and then we'd kind of go, can we play those some more? So at some point we just decided that we wanted to make it more formal and a more regular thing. Sometime in the mid-90s, the European gypsy brass, the Roma brass, started to make its way into the brass band world in the States. And that's what kind of inspired us to really take it somewhere, because we were hearing these really cool brass sounds from around the world. Lately, in particular, probably within the last 5 years or so, as we really started to develop our own music. And while it's based on some things we're hearing elsewhere, it really doesn't sound like anyone else. I don't know how to describe our music anymore other than it's just our own sort of Minneapolis-bred sound has become its own.
The music that we're playing is kind of a happy sound. People like to hear it, people want to move to it, and it's usually something people don't normally hear. They wouldn't hear it if they were listening to the radio generally.
They will.
But they were going to hear it on the radio, yes.
What I think is really exciting about this group and this music is that we really are just ordinary folks. And now this kind of band has sprouted up all over the country in cities all over, and it's just kind of like band nerds like JB that pulled out his phone. And myself, who, same thing, you know, band nerd when I was a kid, gave it up for 20 years, and now there's all of this wonderful stuff that's happening, and it's ordinary folks that are doing it. And that's what music should be, and I think we're getting there.
Oh, we are so playful.
I think this band is truly this band of best friends. I mean, I really don't. It's certainly my group of friends, and even though sometimes
We could write a book on band meetings, couldn't we?
To my mind, a street band is a group that can. The street band is a group that doesn't need to plug in, can play anywhere, and without any need to be. To my mind, the street band is really a group that can be mobile and can enliven a space and do it outdoors and be uninhibited.
I love your uninhabited. Can we go to a bar now?
Yes, JP. Oh, I need a drink.
A street band is a band that drinks a lot of beer and plays on the street.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.